Alright guys, welcome back to the Buggy-sama Fan Club. Yeah! This is your boy Jahan here with
Alex.
And our special guest all the way out in Japan,
John.
Yeah,
Cool.
Alright, we had updates from all the chapters this week, yay! Mucho discussion, yay!
So enthused.
I know. Sounds so excited.
Alright, and as usual, we're gonna start with Bleach and then go through Naruto and then go through One Piece.
This week was pretty, this week was pretty, intriguing, I would say.
Yeah.
Overall.
Overall, I was satisfied.
Actually, no, I take that back. I'd say, like, One Piece really held it together this week. If there wasn't any One Piece, then I think I'd probably retract that statement. But Naruto had a good amount of stuff which was, like, somewhat questionable, but still, like, kind of informative in terms of character. And so I guess when you add that in with, like, the sort of, like, solid material One Piece had to offer, it was, like...
That's what I'm saying.
Overall, a good chat.
Yeah,
week,
no,
right?
it's a good week when more than one of them is good.
Yeah.
It's a good week when more than one of them is good. We'll just say that.
It's already a rarity.
So yeah, we'll start off with Bleach, chapter 599. Damn, they're about to hit 600 chapters, guys. Damn.
Oh,
Damn.
nice.
I just realized that, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy. What are the aren't the other ones on like 600-ish?
No, they're on more, I think.
Isn't like Naruto like 690 something or something? And
694.
694
then,
and One Piece is
about
762.
250 above. Yeah, not too far off.
Wow, Naruto's not too far from, like, lapping One Piece.
Because One Piece, man.
Well, they were
too
kind of
many
out
breaks.
like pretty close to the same amount of time when they were released, though. I think.
I think One
they're
Piece
pretty
came out,
close.
like, a couple of years before. But anyway.
Well, it's not like exactly right then, like in terms of how many chapters there. Because it's 762 versus 694, right? So that's over a year's worth of manga chapters. You're right though.
Yeah, that's more than a year.
One Piece is the only one that actually took like a legitimate like how long break? 6-week break. That was a pretty long.
1 month.
Yeah.
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 So I guess.
In total, it's probably taken like a year break.
Yeah.
In its lifetime.
Which I feel like that's pretty reasonable, because it's been around for almost 2 decades, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. But anyway, so.
But he still takes a lot of breaks.
He does, but I mean, the payment on the other side is,
Dude,
I would argue is worth it compared to the other results we've seen.
yeah. Yeah.
Fact check. One Piece came out in 1997. Naruto came out in 1999.
Okay.
So,
What
couple
month?
years.
What month though? Like, are we
Both in
talking,
September, respectively.
Oh, okay. So it's like 2 years then exactly.
Yeah. Actually, One Piece was July.
So
Not that it's that important. So like a year and change.
Yeah.
Or 2 years and change.
All right. The chapter, Bleach chapter 599, too early to win, too late to know. Ooh.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I guess
it's too early to know.
Or it's too late to know, dude. It's too late to know.
It's too late to know.
I feel like that's like the gist of almost every sort of twist that happens in every chapter in Bleach. It's too late to know.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess in
And
like
too early to win.
a view of like the chapter.
That's kind of, dude. This chapter title is like Bleach in a nutshell, dude. We've kind of cracked it. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Basically, you're not gonna win, and I'm gonna throw this information at you, and it's gonna fuck you over. And guess what? There ain't fucking shit you can do about it. That's like basically Bleach in a nutshell, isn't it? Yes, no, yeah,
We figured Kubo out.
yeah. This here is the theme of Bleach.
This is like his freaking main chapter.
It's the
this is the one he was
dude. It's the
building up to.
mantra, dude. He has that on the wall where he writes this shit. Every
599 is his like opus chapter.
So I guess in like a collective view of the chapter as a whole, too early to win. Like she celebrates after slaughtering this one Stern Ritter. And,
Yeah, he did definitely get slaughtered.
And
You know what I thought? Like, because his power is the wind, what if like the needles still, wouldn't they still kind of be
repelled?
like repelled? Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the whole point is unless he knows for sure that it's like, unless he can sense the presence, then he can't repel it. So it can get him if he's not aware, and he wasn't aware that his thing got like that insignia got sewn, because apparently the woman can sew so fast that he can't know. It's just fucking so stupid. But yeah, so he wasn't aware. She was, you know, distracting him, and she was like bending over and just like fucking going at it, dude. He's just like, oh god, you know, fuck.
She's like crouched behind him, like, yeah, he won't notice.
It's all shabby looking.
It's like the worst like sewing job in the world, dude. Looks like a cat, sort of, like not even like a flower anymore. It's like what?
It's like Hello Kitty or something.
And then he gets sued.
Uh.
So yeah, she like thinks she's killed him, and he goes, "Is that what you truly believe?" That's my German accent.
Well,
right
no,
there.
I mean she kills
He's
him.
like
and then
Antonio Banderas now.
She thinks, well, now I can hit you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, is that what you think? You've made the fatal mistake that every character in this series has made. You assume that you can actually touch me.
Yeah.
And guess
These
what?
like
You can't.
these minions that he summons. These minions that he summons.
They work at Auschwitz.
These like
dude.
guys in the
They have
masks.
gas masks, yeah, dude.
What are they called? Soldats. Soldats. Do you think they're real people? Or just
Oh, just like Ryatsu, like just like
yeah, something like that, or like a power, someone's power.
they might as well be.
Might as well be.
Might as well be.
Because that would suck, man. You're like you're just like summoned and all right, go die.
Well, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that the Soul King or the Soul Palace, the Blackguard, like I'm assuming they're pretty much Ryatsu. So
Yeah, I'm assuming they're
kind of like
not.
they're like pawns of the chess game, right? Sort of. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Almost like robots or something.
Robots.
Soldats.
Soldats.
But anyway, we get the elite force popping out. Pretty badass. I like how the M guy, he's like looking up, he's like, ah. I just picture like that's the sound he's making.
He's like super thug.
He's just like, ah.
Like a bad guy from Power Rangers when they jump out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man, this is totally like Power Rangers too. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, did any of you guys see the most recent Key and Peele sketch, the Nazi one?
oh my god, it was so funny.
Yeah, because
Did you have a better Fiona story?
yeah, it's basically like, I think it's Peele. Peele's like the kind of chubbier one, right?
Yeah.
Peele's like a German Nazi, and he's got like I mean, they didn't do anything to skin tone or anything, but he's got like blonde hair.
Yeah.
And I only bring it up because this guy right here, Stinritter letter X axis, he's like a German black dude with blonde hair. But it just like reminded me of it because that fucking sketch is so goddamn
He's like
hilarious.
in the Nazi party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, German dude, Stinritter.
The Sternritter party.
But yeah, we highly recommend checking it out. Key and Peele's most recent sketch about like what is that about? It's like basically a
It's
Nazi
called
story,
the
right?
Führer story.
Führer story. Yeah, it's like a German officer is trying to tell a story about his like meeting Hitler at like a marketplace.
Yeah.
And like Keegan, I think, is an American soldier who was thought to be dead, but he's actually alive. And then Peele's like trying to point out that he's still alive, but
We should let them watch it.
yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. Check it out. It's totally worth your time. You can like.
What if like as a last minute design he actually watches Key and Peele and he saw that sketch and he's like, oh shit, let me make this guy like Key or whatever.
He's
his
like
name
He calls the editors. Hold on, don't release it. I'm changing it.
Yeah, don't release it.
I'm changing it right now. It'll just be a couple pages.
Yeah.
So he whips out his elite force, Sternritter letter M, the miracle. He's a Valkyrie, like totally German.
Yeah, super Thory.
Thory.
Thor.
Yeah.
Listen to my Thory.
Thor.
Guys, I'm Thory. Stern Ritter X-axis. Lele Baro. What would... You know what? I'm not even going to ask, man.
This is like Lil, sort of like...
Lil Baro.
Lil
Baro.
That's fucking racist, dude.
I'm Lil Baro,
it's, like
homie.
it's like some rapper, dude. Lil Baro.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the best shooter of the rappers. Blah, 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 blah.
What if his name was literally Lil Wayne? Like Lil and
Oh, that'd be
Wayne,
awesome.
dude.
And he had the Lil Wayne dreadlocks instead of the
dude,
blonde
everything,
hair. Right
yeah. I mean, he looks like he could be a character.
there. Oh, yeah, he totally does.
And he had a guy following him around everywhere. He looked like
no,
Drake.
it's Lil Jon, and all he says is, "What? Okay."
Elite.
Stern Ritter letter
Stern Ritter
C,
C.
the compulsory.
Yeah.
Pernita, Parnkios. Pernita. Bonita apple bomb, man. Letter D, the D. The
Give me that D.
dealing. Askin Nak Levada.
Dude, this guy looks like Aizen. Like,
Yeah.
Like
he's
gay
like
Aizen.
isn't? Yeah, he's like a feminine Aizen, isn't he? Pretty much.
Extremely
Yeah, he does
good.
have some pretty fabulous lips. Some DSL.
I wonder if he has a mullet also.
It's those eyebrows too, dude. They're like cholo
Yeah, those
eyebrows.
eyebrows.
Dude.
Yeah, they're like
Got
drawn
that,
on.
yeah.
So it seems that one of like the elite was killed because
Oh, so yeah, so
because the rest of them are existing members and he got promoted from below.
Uh-huh.
So in that case, I better like be the best. So he was like an insanely strong Stern Ritter, probably
The guy who died or the guy who took his place?
the guy that took his place to
Yeah.
like be put into the elite, like just like that. All right, like I lost a guy, you're gonna be the next one.
Right. And he's kind of like underplaying it. Almost,
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's like, oh man, better bring my A game.
Yeah,
Like it's like a.
This is the guy that was kind
of.
of like
He probably,
dicking around earlier.
he probably like cherishes the opportunity to be in the elite squads, and he's just like, oh fuck yeah, like. And I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but if you would notice, I don't think he does anything the entire chapter. Like you know how when they all like try to kill it, whatever.
Yeah, he's like the trump card.
Oh, yeah.
He just like
Yeah.
he just stands there.
Does everyone attack?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone does something.
Yeah.
Ah.
The Valkyrie guy, like, totally Thor, dude. Totally Thor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely Thor.
He'd only be more Thor if he had a hammer.
Yeah, but the short sword, man, it's his version of the short hammer that Thor has. Watch him call it the Mjolnir, too.
Da,
Oh,
da,
jeez.
da, da, da.
Charges her, and she, like, tries to block it standing. Like, come on. Delicate feminine arms can halt my blade. G. And she's like, oh, no. Better call some more minions out. What?
Which is stupid. I don't understand. Like, what?
Stop them in their tracks.
Does anyone really believe that? Like, that's really... I mean, I feel like there's got to be so many people calling horseshit on this.
On what?
On the fact that she just, like... This Zero Squad, like, leader is kind of, like... Can't even...
Block, like, this attack.
Not even, like... Not even just block it, but, like... Doesn't have the foresight to know whether or not she can. Like, it takes her by surprise.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I thought, like, this whole thing is that, like, these people, like, their power is based on their spiritual energy, not on their physicality, right? So, like, she's like she's like an elite, right? Elite of the Shinigami. She can't stop this guy or, like, even be able to assess whether or not she can.
But
And then-
has she
and-
fought Quincy's before? I guess if
I don't
it's
know,
a
do you
person
think that's, like, a
counter.
valid reason as to why...
Dude, yeah, dude. If you've never fought the enemy before, then you wouldn't know as much.
But, I
about
mean, she
it.
knows, like, Hallschwatz and I'm sure she's seen...
That's
the
true.
sort
Earlier,
of-
she said, "Oh, it's good to see you again."
And plus, she's seen the devastation they've done, and like Ichigo and Byakuya come up like totally wrecked, and it's like we know how to fix that because like they have some sort of familiarity, I'm sure of.
I think they had more of a familiar to like fix people that got wrecked rather than like.
I think yeah, but I mean on
People-
some level, like because the whole point that they went up there was because only they could fix them, right? Because they're such an elite class of experienced whatever that like only they can. Because we have a healer down here on the ground, but it's like no one can save you except these guys. So it's like it's because I mean I think you can assume it's because they have some sort of extensive knowledge of like this stuff, right? Like you're talking about the Soul King's men. I think you could assume that they have a knowledge of Stern Ritter or what do you call them again? What do we call
Quincy's.
Quincy's? Yeah. of what they could do. But I mean, like, I don't know.
It's possible she's just the weakest of all of them.
That's possible, but then why would she be on the front lines like this then?
I don't know. Maybe she controls those guys.
Yeah, she controls them.
The black guys.
Aren't they just
The
like
Negroes.
I feel like they're just like the royal guards.
That's true. They're just like the soldiers.
I feel like they should be coming out regardless of whether or not she asks them to or not, right?
I guess she did take out W. That's like, in Kubo's mind, he's like, that was her.
That was her. That's
Purpose fulfilled.
Done.
Yeah,
she's done. It's time.
Yeah, now
to
she's
die. No, yeah,
I've used you too much already. You die. Well, she's
not this
dead.
dude is
she
fucking.
is dead. Fuck.
This guy is like pretty.
Yeah, doesn't she
beefy,
take like
man.
a bullet to the face by the end of the chapter? Like she's just
Yep.
yeah.
And that thing totally looks like Komamura's thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And this fucker was just like hiding up in the pillars the whole time. He's just watching the battle.
He's like, oh, they called me. It's my turn.
It's my turn. Yeah, going down. It's like, how did you not notice this giant fucker up in the sky, just like chilling up there?
I wonder what happened to
huge,
the big black minion.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I think he got shot, right?
No, he got mangled. See how like all his fingers are bent back the wrong way. The armor and things he had were all bent.
Have you guys seen? Have you guys watched or read any of Gantz?
No.
Gantz. It's like a manga where these guys are
Gantz?
Gantz, yeah.
Gantz?
Gantz, yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't.
They have these.
I haven't read it, but I know it.
They have these crazy sci-fi guns in that manga where they shoot it and basically it's like there's no bullets. It just creates an immense gravitational field and it just like kind of like pressures the shit out of an area, like kind of like almost shit cans the whole area. And that's kind of what it reminds me of, because this is exactly what would happen is when they would shoot a monster, this sort of mangledness happens, right? And then the guy pulls out a gun, and I think it kind of implies that he shot him, sort of. That's what I kind of got out of it. Like the guy, the black
Kubo
dude,
reads Gantz.
I'm sure he does. Gantz is like huge in Japan. It's like they've already made a movie about it and everything.
No, I believe it was the hooded guy because like he does something to the face,
definitely,
and then something happens after, and like this guy
something
he like
to do
whips
with
out his
blackness.
gun, like he like takes off the robe and whips out his gun, and then he shoots her in the head after.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah, you're right. I kind of read into that a little offbeat, yeah.
Dude, in Dota terms or like RPG terms, this is like such a good team. The Quincy. You got like the support, the fat guy, and then
the tank, right? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the tank, and then the ranged hero. Just pew pew.
It's good balancing, dude.
Yeah, it is good balancing.
Good balancing.
But yeah, she got
and then
hella
if you
wrecked.
look at the bottom right leg on the screen, that thing is totally bent out of shape too. Like that's its leg that it was standing
I
on.
can't really tell, man. It looks like it could be clothes or something. I don't really know.
It looks like it got smushed by something. Like look at his fingers on his his right hand.
Yeah.
Smash.
And like the head
Yeah,
too.
he got
it's like
smushed. Yeah, the hands, everything. So the big hooded guy, maybe, I don't know. The compulsory doesn't really give much away.
Maybe he's like a bloodbender or something.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wow, that would be gnar.
And very original.
Yeah.
And that's like a pretty like I thought that was a pretty thug line. Just now, did you just entertain the possibility that the royal palace would fall too slow? Like you realized too late that it was over for you. Like
Yeah.
and he was like,
It's because he's black. That's why it's thug.
and he whipped out a gat, like a cannon, like with
Yeah. He whipped out a gat.
with fur on it. That's totally like a pimp gat. Too,
Is that fur on it? Are
Yeah,
you
dude.
seriously?
That's fur on
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. That is fur.
Oh my god.
He
dude.
put like a fur on there, like, cause he's a pimp. Like
It's
look
just
at his
like
clothes and
purple,
shit,
like the whole thing's just purple and just, like,
Purple rain. Purple rain. That's his soundtrack.
and his cannon thing is like a plus or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
I guess he has like super aim, huh?
Dude, I don't fucking buy this. I just don't. Like, her like her minion gets mangled, and like she's looking at it like oh my god, my minion's dead. You know, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right. That scared you, right? You thought about the fact that you're all fucked right now because I killed your minion, you know? And she's like, it's totally true. He killed my minion.
What am I gonna do?
I don't fucking believe this shit. I just don't. It's so stupid.
Well, I feel like she confidently called that thing out as like
that it would be so.
like
But that's what I'm
powerful
saying. It's
thing,
like yeah, like she totally buys into this idea supposedly that like her understanding of the enemy is so poor that she thinks that she can just pull out some fodder and he'll take care of everything. And like they fucking raffle stomp the shit out of not just the minion but her, and it's like she has this inability to even know that's possible. Like I just don't buy that at all, you know. If when you're on the Soul King's palace, you better have some sort of fucking sense, you know what I mean, to know like, oh shit, these guys are real time.
Yeah,
bring out their.
That's what I was saying. Like they should all have gathered in one place.
Yeah, they should have.
It's
like it's not because when you think about it, it's not just her that's severely underestimating these guys. It's literally the whole fucking crew there, including the Soul King.
Like,
right? It's like
I guess they would have like something where they have like one guy with the Soul King like all the time, just in case. Mm-hmm. You know, just sort of like in case someone sneaks by,
like the second in command of like the whole area, right? Only to the king himself.
Yeah, and then the four of them can go out together and be come at us, like, you know, what you got.
I will say maybe I don't know. She was triple teamed, so could be a factor. But I do agree with you, Alex. Like she should have been more prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
so go ahead.
She thought they were gonna just be like fair and come at her one at a time. Like, dude, this is war. Like, they would like quadruple, like all five of them team up against you if you like.
Well,
if
I mean,
required.
Even that's kind of like irrelevant when you think about it. It's like, do any of us really believe that like all four of these Sternritter royal guards could even take on fucking Juhabak? Like, no, not really, right? So really, he's the real threat, and he's there, and they're like, yeah, we'll just send in one at a time. It's fine. He just he made fucking Yamamoto his bitch, but I'm sure we'll be okay. We'll just throw a few we'll throw a few guys we hired on the 9 to 5 to just like they'll do it. It's okay. It's fine. It's like, no, it's bullshit. But I mean, it's not even just this. Like, I feel like I have the same sort of feeling almost every single time this shit happens, where it's like you got these characters who are like, like, oh, fuck your shit, you can't do anything. And it's like, oh, really? Is that what you think? Well, let me show you what I can do. And then, it's like same shit over and over again.
Do you think he's... Do you think she's dead?
Yeah.
Nah, I hope not. That would be really sad. That'd be really sad, but I mean, maybe
That's a clear-cut hole through her head, man.
It might be smoke, dude. It might just be like smoke, and like she has like
just smoke.
A titanium. No, I mean like it hit her, and like all you're not seeing necessarily like her head actually blown off, but you're seeing the residual smoke of being hit. Maybe her forehead is like made out of fucking titanium, or maybe the clothes she has gives her like huge amounts of like physical immunity or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe she's a Logia, dude.
Maybe she's a she hit the Itano fruit, dude. She's like all strings and shit, dude.
Yeah. Because I would believe that there's like her clothes are like insane enough that she has like a barrier, like an invisible barrier around her, and hit the barrier and it's like.
I think that'd be really creative, actually. Like maybe it would explain, on some sort of logical sense, why all the stuff I was just bitching about, why she's doing it. Maybe she's not in any sort of real threat or any sort of threat, and so she's just doing this to scope out the enemy and get intel on them, and like maybe everyone else is watching or something. That would be like the ideal situation. I don't think that's what it is though. I feel like maybe we can go on and she's she got KO'd or something.
You mean like kind of like one of like Doflamingo's string clones, like that? Like maybe she's like a string clone or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a multitude of ways I think that, because considering her powers, right, like she can make clothes that allows you to kind of travel in and out of the sort of like immense barrier that surrounds the royal palace. It's like if you consider that, then there's probably a lot of different things she could do, where it's like maybe she's wearing clothes where it's like every time you think you've killed her, it's really just an illusion. That's what the power the clothes give you, or just like this. or maybe she's just invulnerable, to like physical attacks, and so they have to strip her to make her vulnerable, and then that'd be great.
I would like to see her fight on for sure.
Yeah,
but even if she died, so now we have a perfect like 4-on-4 because there are 4 zeros left and 4 elites. So what if they sort of separate out into the different areas and they like 1v1 each other? That'd be pretty tight.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome to see. But I feel like those guys were introduced as more people for Ichigo to kill.
Yeah.
Rather than for the Zero Squad to...
True that.
I feel like they were
definitely.
there.
It's to allow him to showcase his talents before he actually goes up against Juhabak.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so it's like you have this idea of what Ichigo can do and what's everything that he has on the line, like everything he has at his disposal, right?
Yeah.
And it's
like
like
a build up to the Juhabak fight.
And it's Juhabak, who we know really little about, and then so Juhabak's gonna be like, "Oh, you thought you could kill me, motherfucker? Guess
Dude, no way,
what
guys.
I can do? Guess." And
No way, guys.
Yeah, and it's pull some shit.
He's strong enough to one-shot Yamamoto like a bitch. So like,
dude, these guys are all gonna get taken down by Chad.
Chad's my hero.
He's gonna come up there and like totally just raffle stomp these guys.
Alright guys, moving on to Naruto here. It's called Naruto and Sasuke. What an original chapter title. And it's one.
Naruto and Sasuke won.
Yeah, he's already foreshadowing that there's going to be a Naruto and Sasuke 2, guys.
Dude, he's pulling a Kubo.
What a terrific freaking
What was
literary
the
technique.
Marching out the zombies, dude? Marching out Naruto and Sasuke, dude. Sasuke.
Chapter 694, as we said earlier. So many chapters. Starts off the true meaning behind Sasuke's Hokage. Oh my god.
Dude, this was a fucking just...
Oh my god.
This was a loaded dialogue chapter, dude.
Yeah.
Just
I like it. There's a lot to talk about, but they did say a lot of words for kind of not that much stuff.
Yeah, I like that it kind of like elaborated on Sasuke and where he's coming from, because I think that was like very necessary.
Yeah, that was important.
Because there's so much about like it's just like why the fuck is he doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
Like you had like some sort of idea because he kind of mentions briefly, but like you're kind of left to kind of piece it together. But it kind of sucks because like you wish you could have like seen it through the action more. You know what I mean? Like gotten to understand what he was about through the sort of shit he was doing. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you, John?
No, I burped.
But anyway,
I like it because like what I guess this is something that I like give daps to Kishi for is that like he really made us believe like why would Sasuke go back to being bad? Like I truly was just like, dude, all right, like after everything that has gone down, you should just be good, like you should stop being a bitch, right?
Wait, at what point?
After they defeated Kaguya, like
okay.
I was like, all right, dude, like come on, man, like.
So you thought in the midst of him fighting Kaguya, he was still bad?
He was, I guess, like in the midst of him fighting Kaguya is when he was realizing how much like how wrong he was, and then like by the end of the fight, he like completely drops the concept of like he like completely drops it, not even thinking about it anymore. He's like, all right, like I'm 100% convinced I'm gonna go back to being good because like look at what we got done together. Like
okay.
So like
I thought he made his decision even before that.
Which was when for you?
Which was when he summoned, or when Orochimaru summoned the Kages, and he had that chit chat.
Chit chat.
That chit. We got that backstory.
Yeah.
I thought that was when he made
I would
his
give it back
solid
to that
decision.
too. That's when he like had decided to change his mind. But I would say that when he like it took him like to actually defeating Kaguya at the end to 100% be sure like I made the right decision.
Yeah, that was like the yes. That was like the final yes. I'm back.
So like
I'm back, bitch. Team 7 for life.
So I was pretty bent on him being a good guy. So they needed to give like a really solid reason to like convince me otherwise. Like what the hell could he possibly have going for him? So it was cool that they explained it in this detail this much. I guess that's all I was getting at.
And yeah, I mean that's basically what the whole chapter was. That's all it was, you know. So I mean, I guess we don't.
Yeah,
really
it was much needed exposition for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, like we don't really have to really even surmise the chapter. Really, like we should just get into what the fuck it is he's saying, because like they literally don't do anything other than just talk about this.
So at the end they like clash their hands together,
and it's like da 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 da. Verse, you know.
Naruto literally doesn't change his face the whole chapter.
Well, he
like,
goes in between
pouting.
like disapproval and pouting and actual anger.
He's just like, bitch.
He's like listening kind of intently, like no.
He's probably thinking about ramen, to be honest. I didn't hear anything you just said, Sasuke. Let's fight now.
Oh my god,
dude! You know the
like,
Chappelle show where like the bald guy comes up to him and pitches the idea, and the whole time he's talking, Doug Chappelle's thinking about random shit. It's probably that. It was like ramen.
Sakura naked, yeah.
Sakura. Oh my god, he's like, if Sasuke was a ramen, what kind of ramen would he be?
Dude, I'd slurp him so hard. That's what he's thinking.
Probably be a shoyu ramen.
Shoyu.
My favorite. My favorite ramen.
A sausage ramen. So basically, that's a chapter. And
let's get into this first bit. He says, he reveals what he believes was Itachi's whole reason for Itachi's sacrifice. And
his life.
Sasuke says it is to, what was it? To make light the shittiness of the system? Is that what he says? I have to reread it.
No, Sasuke is like whole, like...
It's basically like the Dark Knight idea.
Yeah, that's what Sasuke
yeah, he's
was.
basically saying like Itachi was basically like Batman. He was the hero that wasn't the hero that we deserved, but he was the hero that we needed.
Yeah.
Basically, where it's like he took on everything, and he was really the true hero, the true Kage of the Leaf, because he shouldered the entire burden on his own, and he allowed peace to continue in Konoha by sacrificing himself. Which I think is kind of a flawed argument, considering the sort of like circumstances of what had occurred, because it wasn't just that Itachi sacrificed himself, it was that he murdered like
the entire clan.
And I think part of like the problem here is that we're being told that like, I mean, over and over again there's this sort of debate about whether or not Uchiha, right, is really just bad in of itself. Like, is it just, if you're an Uchiha, like, are you automatically evil? Like, I think the answer in this manga is no, you're not. But then, like, why murder an entire clan then? Like, are you telling me that literally every single person in that clan there wasn't someone innocent in there?
I'm sure there were a lot of volatile personalities.
but I'm sure there were a lot of people who were like, hey, you know, this is kind of, you know, let's not, you know, I mean, they even kind of like insinuated that
it was basically, yeah, you're right. It's like genocide.
Yeah,
it's
like Kushina had like a friendship with like Sasuke's mom. They seemed like they were like great buddies. Like, oh yeah, you're having a baby too. You know, I can't wait till we can have play dates.
Yeah,
like they were fine. Like there's no like, they were okay, and it's like
they weren't like, my baby's gonna kick your baby's ass one day.
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's like fucking non-Uchiha blood baby. Fuck that shit.
Look at that blonde hair, disgusting.
Yeah, like there's none of that, right? So I mean, like, I don't know. It's like I feel like it's flawed at best. You know, like it's not like Batman went around like murdering an entire like race of people in Gotham to like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, like Gotham.
He literally had a code that would ensure he would never do that.
Dude, it would be like if like the sort of patriarchy of Gotham City was like, hey, you know, like black people are the reason why Gotham City is the way they are, and so like Batman is a black dude, and he went and killed and he massacred all of the black people because the black people are like trying to make an uprising. And then he's like, I killed all the black people, it's my fault. And he got like, it's like, I think the whole like concept is a little, it could have been molded a little bit, you know? Like, I think it kind of like generalized a little bit too much. I don't know. I'm trying to point out that sort of like I think there's a fundamental.
I think it might be more than that because by doing that and then going to join like Akatsuki and stuff, he like united the countries more because that was another like common enemy that they had. They were like, oh, like he killed the entire Uchiha clan and he's out there. Like
he said the reason why he went into Akatsuki was to spy on them. He wanted to keep an eye on them and make sure that they weren't. He wanted to understand what they were up to because they were such a big force, and also he was investigating Madara. Basically, he wanted to know what his angle was. Because I guess you can make the argument that because he's a part of Akatsuki, he kind of unites the world. But I mean, he doesn't really do that much in Akatsuki if you really think about it. It's really Akatsuki itself. It's really Pain who kind of unites the world. In terms of like hating and Madara, really, you can make the argument that Madara is really the real Kage.
But the thing is that nobody knew about Pain and nobody knew about Madara, but everybody knew about Itachi. That's an enemy that they knew and they understood that was there, and they were like, all right, like
not really.
We'll join together. And
there was never really a point where like the Raikage was like, we need to take down Akatsuki because Itachi is a threat to the entire ninja.
But it's
world.
more like Konoha's hatred.
Yeah, it's
right?
Konoha.
It's not like the
right,
world's like, oh, Itachi's a fucking.
But I mean, I'm just saying though, like if we're talking about Konoha, he already supposedly accomplished the unification of Konoha by doing what he did by enacting genocide on his own clan. He never really does it on a world scale. It's really Pain. Pain's the one that everyone knows is like sort of like the kingpin, and eventually it becomes Madara. And I think you can make the argument then that Madara is the real true hero, technically by this logic, because he's the one who unified everyone by being the biggest asshole in the story, right? But I mean, like obviously that logic doesn't really hold up.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Madara is a hero or anything.
But I mean, but going by this logic though, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could look at it that way, right? Because technically, everyone banded together to stop Madara, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
in a way.
I guess
in a way.
I suppose so. But the difference is Madara didn't sacrifice anything. He just was kind of an asshole. Well, so Itachi actually sacrificed not only his own life, but his clan's life.
Like his own happiness, right? But I mean, is that what we're getting at then? That the only difference is in intention?
Yeah, I guess so. Because that's what Sasuke's taking away by calling him or considering him like the true Hokage, right? It's like the one person who can willfully put themselves through that should be deserving of the title. Only that person. That's Sasuke's logic in this. I don't think he would argue for Madara's like enshrinement in the Hall of Great, like Konoha leaders.
Does it really matter though? I mean, when you think about it, Sasuke's making an ideological sort of stance, right? About not really the means to get what it is you want, but rather what ends up happening by the end. I mean, he's saying, I'm gonna kill all the Kages right now, and I'm gonna kill the tailed beasts, and it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I don't care what the fuck you guys think. It's really just about you all hating me and unifying against me, right? Yeah. So it's making an argument for the fact that the means to which don't matter. So then you could make the argument then that with Madara, it's like the means to which don't matter because in the end, it fucking unified everyone, right? And I mean, he was gonna even go so far as to put them all under Genjutsu and give them a sort of like an end-all be-all ultimatum, right? Where it's like you're in the Matrix or you're not, and you're all happy or you're not.
Well,
yeah,
no,
but I
don't think it's like that, man. I think you're taking the means don't matter as like a little far in what he's trying to say here.
Well, like, I mean, I'm talking about in terms of the way Sasuke thinks, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So like, the means don't matter, but like he said, the means do matter because the difference in between them, if we're talking about the difference between the Sasuke and Madara, is that at the end of the day, it's not really the people's choice to hate Madara. Whereas, like, at the end of the day on Sasuke's version, like, he's just gonna kill Naruto and all the previous Kages and all the beasts so that there's, like, none of those, like, notions of power anymore, like, no, like, leaders of anything and, like, no tailed beasts to use in war. And then, like, they'll know that he killed all of them. So then like all these people will live like normal lives hating Sasuke. Like, they'll be living normal lives. Like, whereas in Madara's version, he's not the hero because they're not living normal lives. They're like probably not even living at some point.
Right, and I think that's the case Naruto would make. I think that's the case that the manga would ultimately make. I'm just simply pointing out that this is the case that the manga is making right now, in terms of the opponent and what his belief system is and where he's coming from, his justification of why he's doing what he's doing.
I think that's the inherent flaw then.
Right,
in
is
Sasuke's,
yeah, and it's like, but also it's a flaw in the storytelling, because then it really amounts to basically Sasuke would think then that Madara is a hero, is a martyr.
I think it just depends. It depends on what you believe in, because I think it's a flaw in Sasuke, not necessarily the storytelling. Because if we look at Itachi, who's like the comparison for Sasuke, that Sasuke is making the comparison to Itachi himself, right? He's saying Itachi was the Hokage because of what he sacrificed and the burden that he took, and therefore now I, the last Uchiha, have to shoulder that hatred. I have to shoulder all of the negative sort of consequences. But what was I getting at?
Well,
basically, so it's Sasuke's fault in his own logic, because he wants to kill the system, whereas Itachi was preserving the system in his actions. So it's really whichever you believe in. If you believe that Sasuke's right and revolution is justified, then by all means support Sasuke. If you believe Itachi was right, then you should believe that Itachi was the Hokage in principle.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's hard to hold on. It's hard to argue it without having taken notes or anything.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, well,
it's definitely a nice moral gray that Kishi has brought.
I guess like one huge thing that you would definitely have to cover before you could really debate this topic in any sort of concrete way is like, he would create revolution, but then what would occur exactly after that? You know what I mean? It's like he would kill the 5 Kages and the tailed beast, and supposedly he believes that once that occurs, the hierarchy won't exist anymore. Like, of course, it's gonna keep going. That's
just the thing, right? That's kind of like, that's just historically, that's kind of what it's been, right? Yeah. It's like you build up a system, revolution breaks it down, the same sort of system builds up again, and it needs to be broken down again. It's like a cycle. Right. So what I'm pointing out is that until we can even get a sort of clear understanding of how exactly he would actually break down that system by killing Kages, like.
Well, I don't think the Kages is as important as killing the tailed beast,
right? Because supposedly they're the epitome of power in this story, right?
Yeah, but like the Kages are like they're still like the leaders of their respective countries. Mm-hmm. I think that's like more of like rather than like a power scale thing, more of like a psychological thing where it's like, oh, like he killed all our leaders, we have no leaders at this point, and we have no like I guess they considered them to be weapons, like weapons either.
Yeah, they are weapons for sure, like defense for the country and offense for the country.
So I mean, I guess the question I'm positing here is that, okay, so once the tailed beasts are killed, and once all 5 Kages are killed, and once Naruto is killed, is it really sort of believable to think that these people aren't going to fall back onto some sort of hierarchy, that they would just live in some sort of like communist paradise where like they would literally all just be in the same country together and not basing each other on some sort of political system that...
Well, maybe because they actually did just gather as like one like unified army
to fight, but I mean, but what about creating a home and creating a sort of like a living ecosystem?
Yeah, so who says they can't carry on their unity into the next generation?
Well, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying I would like to know exactly how he's making... Why is he suggesting that? What evidence is there to really believe that would be the result of him doing what he's planning on doing?
By my estimation, it just seems like he wants an anarchy or something.
Right, it seems incredibly sort of naive and immature. It's like to actually
It is, but
believe
it's
that-
definitely a sentiment that exists in like even the modern world.
V for Vendetta, man.
Yeah. But I think that's the flaw. Even though I align with like I think revolution is good and I think it's justified in this case. Like I'm not mad at Sasuke for wanting to break down the old system, but I don't think he needs to necessarily like do it this way, which was Madara's also, I guess, fault. Or yeah, that was his flaw, right? Madara's belief was kind of different from Hashirama's. He thought it should be this certain way. Maybe the goal is ideal, right? Definitely a peaceful society where there's no war. That's what Madara wanted. That's what Hashirama wanted, and that's what Naruto and Sasuke both want. But Sasuke, you're right. He has like no plan.
Damn it.
And there'd be no way to sustain the like immense power vacuum that would be created from killing the country's leaders and the tailed beasts. It would just be chaos after that.
So I guess like in a way like all four of them were like trying to be the hero in a sense. Like Madara, Hashirama, Naruto, and Sasuke, they could all try to be the hero. Everyone I guess not everyone, but most of them have like different like views on how to get there. Have different like, roads
basically
to get
how
there.
to accomplish peace. That's like the same end goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I guess like one of them is being like a total asshole. One of them is being like a total bitch. And I guess I don't really know what Naruto's future would be. I guess the only one that's really been shown was Hashirama's.
No, Hashirama's future?
No, Hashirama's like world, like running it in Hashirama's way, like.
Yeah, and Hashirama thought he had it figured out too.
We've
Right?
seen what Madara's will get done. We've seen that too.
It's kind of, I don't know, man. It is definitely a deep question. Like, who has the right answer? Because maybe even Naruto doesn't. If his goal is diplomacy, which certainly he's accomplished now, the next generation of leaders are going to come and they're not going to be the same as him.
Yeah,
and they're not going to be the same as the Raikage or the current other Kages. Like, it's going to change no matter what.
Some other asshole.
Whichever one is best for the present, I guess, is what we're going to agree with.
The stories about Naruto, we're agreeing with Naruto's way, guys.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I think really that the sort of, I mean, I liked what you said about what you just said, because I think the manga multiple times actually focuses on the fact that Naruto doesn't have the answer, and he kind of beats down on himself for not having that answer. Like in particular, I remember when he was talking to Pain, and Pain has him down, and he's like talking to him about what happened to him back in his past, and he says, "How would you have fixed that issue?" And he says, I don't know.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
like, and he has that look on his face, like, man, like, it's like really one of the few times in Naruto where he has completely lost faith in himself, So yeah,
he's just like, you got me. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, definitely, But then part of like I think the flaw in just the story and trying to sort of tackle on a sort of like a very sort of big sort of, I don't know what to even call it, a moral issue, or like just like I guess
moral and
like really just the theme of the entire story is that it's not very sort of detailed in terms of how exactly the sort of system that's been in place was exactly oppressive to the Uchiha. You know what I mean? It's like
they brought their fate unto themselves. Really.
Yeah, it's like
they were like dissenting for no reason.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. It's like they got to be in control of the military police. So I mean, and supposedly they were living a happy life. Like they weren't dealing with some racism. Like everyone loved the shit out of the Uchiha. They were like the best ninjas, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they were quarantined.
Yeah, they were
it was like a strong addition to the country.
Yeah, they were held up on a pedestal.
Yeah, Konoha, we got the Uchihas, guys.
But then he kind of threw in this like random sort of thing about how they actually did kind of get quarantined into a sort of like secluded corner of like Konoha, which was totally like inconsistent with like the attitude that was being portrayed about Uchiha in the village at the time.
I think it's contrary more to like it's contrary more to how the third Hokage was characterized. He's kind of a compassionate guy.
Right, and that's the thing, is like they did the thing while he was in leadership. It just makes it makes no sense. It's like they were like they dissented because they were really like upset about what exactly, we're not really sure, right? It's like they supposedly, because they started losing power.
It was probably because like people like
it was
Madara,
probably
maybe
subtle.
like Madara got in there and like put in a couple words in a couple ears.
That's
and, like,
I think that's what was missing, right? Because I think that was the most believable
Or
thing.
Toby, yeah.
It's like if we got an understanding of how exactly Toby manipulated them into doing that, but we never really got that though. There was, I mean, I think there might have been like a slight indication, but that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the details, right? Like we weren't exactly there wasn't really a good understanding of how exactly the system oppressed them. So I think it's hard for us to even really take this conversation seriously, because it's like the system isn't really that bad. It was a really unfortunate circumstance that actually doesn't really make that much sense. Like I feel like the third Hokage would have, if he stood for compassion and diplomacy, then he would have figured out some way to get the Uchihas back on the side of the village without massacring them. You know, it's like that's a very extreme thing to do, and he was the one in leadership when it happened. So it just like it just doesn't make any sense. I think like that's a huge part of the problem as to why this isn't really. I think is kind of weak and doesn't really make any sense. But
I think maybe we can say like Danzo and the other lady had a big influence on whether or on the big decision, but at the same time, like the Hokage is the final say.
Yeah, he is, and he had to have agreed to it on some level if it happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Danzo was like a mad scientist, like that hated Uchihas but loved their freaking gifts. Danzo was like the one the
X-Men First Class?
No, not First Class.
Okay.
Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse. The scientist that like study all the...
Oh, yeah, the genes and That's
the
good.
little,
That's
the
a good
little short
analogy.
guy. Like,
Yeah.
And he
in the most recent one.
In the most recent one. Apocalypse.
Oh,
not Apocalypse.
No, I know you're talking
Days
about
of Future
Days
Past.
of Future, yeah.
Days of Future Past.
I think the first one's a good example too, though. The Nazi guy who was like testing on the Kevin Bacon character, who was testing on Magneto initially. Like he was a Nazi.
Yeah.
And Magneto was a Jewish guy, and he was like, listen, I'm gonna kill your mom and do all this shit to you, and you're gonna, Yeah, that's a really good analogy actually. Like the sort of like the obsession, like just fused with hate.
Yeah.
It's like.
It was like hatred because he could never be that.
Right. Yeah, it's
like
envy.
resentment.
It's envy. Yeah, definitely.
Envy and resentment. Yeah. But yeah, I think maybe just to the end, the murder of the Uchiha clan will always be one of those just mysteries of the story. But at the time, I bought it because I don't know. Maybe sometimes a clan just gets like that. Like people just people just kind of people just start acting a fool, man. It's like they were planning a coup, and that much is certain. So
I remember exactly what the story gave as a reason. Is they said that they were unhappy that that Madara lost and died, and Hashirama was the leader. But to think about like how long ago that happened to when they revolted was such a huge period.
It doesn't make sense.
They would have either revolted right on the spot or maybe like a couple weeks later.
But not like decades.
Yeah.
And like just generations later. You're talking about like almost 100 years, right?
No.
No,
more like...
Definitely a few generations. Not 100 years though.
30 years or so.
30 years? No
Dude,
way.
no. But by the time that Hashirama defeated Madara, Konoha was
definitely like 60 or 70 years. Because the third was a kid when Hashirama defeated Madara, I think.
Was he?
Was the third old when he
the third was old.
When he was decided to kill. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that was a couple years before the story.
So yeah, it'd be more like 60 to 70 years maybe.
Yeah, so definitely a couple generations ago.
Like 60.
Long enough ago to not harbor that same resentment, but...
but actually, to add to what you just said about the fact that, maybe clans just get annihilated sometimes, right? Like, I kind of, like, I thought of an example we were just talking about that it totally matches that, which is, we understand why Magneto is the way he is, right? don't we? It's like fairly apparent why he is the way he is. Why he's so
because he's a mutant.
Why he's so hell bent on vengeance. It's like the Jewish got annihilated like back in the day, and it's like it totally sort of informs on his character. And it's really rather simple to understand. I guess it still kind of doesn't apply though, because it's not like they're like Konoha was after eugenics or anything. Like they weren't like. If anything, if they wanted eugenics, they would have made Uchihas the kingpins of Konoha. But you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it kind of falls apart. But I mean, in terms of motive, though, I'm saying it's kind of like Sasuke is like Magneto.
For sure.
Sasuke Lensher.
He speaks Spanish.
Sasuke Eric.
German.
Jihadin. Eric.
Yeah, destined to be the
Avenger.
The maligned. And yeah. In any case, that was a long fleshing out of this, which is good though, because actually it's a deep issue.
It's kind of like what this entire story hinges on. So I mean,
I thought I really
I guess so.
I thought one part of the story or the chapter that I really liked was like them thinking the same thoughts throughout the chapter, like them having the same memories, but then leading up to a different answer. Like Itachi tells Naruto, like, oh, like you can't do this alone. Like your father was great because he had like his friends and comrades, and like I failed because I tried to do everything by myself. And then like he says the same thing to Itachi, like individuality is being flawless. And then like he listens, and then they keep thinking, and it's like they lead up to like hold on, talking shit. And he's like, oh, like then it like leads up to the picture saying how like Naruto says we're pretty good friends, and then Sasuke says that he's the closest friend I ever had.
Which is like so funny because like why doesn't he say closest friend? He's like, oh, we're acquaintances. We don't really talk. Like what if he like said that and he's like, oh, he was like my best friend. Like, oh, fuck, who was he again? Oh yeah.
This is a little awkward. Sai's my best friend.
Oh, you mean Sai? No, I know what you mean though. I mean, I think the manga does that a lot actually. The idea of duality and like sort of like
the parallelisms.
Yeah.
The parallels. And then it shows them being little niños, and then they're like in real life, and then they elbow bump each other. Totally not that badass, like. And dude, Naruto's facial expression finally changes, dude. At the end of it. So I guess we're gonna see some fighting now, finally. But I can't even complain because the chapter got through a lot of information that I thought was pretty necessary to like the story. Like, even though you're very, very obviously you were not satisfied, but I thought it was, for what he did, for what the story and for where it's at, that was good.
Yeah, it was definitely necessary.
What was good? The chapter?
Yeah, the chapter. And like the explanation and how he did all of it.
But
it was good.
But like my sort of issue with it definitely goes back far beyond this chapter though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know, exactly.
So much of it is based
all
around...
of that included, and everything that happened up till now.
That chapter did its best in explaining.
To try to resolve...
Yeah.
To try to salvage the sort of situation.
Yeah, considering the trend of losses, the losing streak that Naruto has kind of been on, like, they finally got in a win against Miami, dude.
So your attitude is just like, I applaud the effort.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys.
What I can appreciate is just like I was saying is like he set up a nice sort of gray area for the future of the world. It's like I on some levels I agree with Sasuke. On some levels I agree with Naruto. I think Sasuke's inherent problem is that he still doesn't understand what Itachi's life meant and what his death meant.
Yeah.
So that's what Sasuke is missing. Because I don't think he's basically saying like, in honor of my brother, I'm gonna kill you now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill all of the power systems of the world. But I don't think Itachi would have wanted any of those things.
I definitely
even though revolution is a good thing.
I definitely agree. I think at this point, if I'm being completely honest, there's really not much different about what Sasuke is going after and what Madara is going after. You know what I mean? Like he's like, and he's talking about fooling an entire populace, right? That's sort of his aim. Is like,
well, Itachi fooled an entire populace.
Right, exactly. But for a different motive, though, you know what I mean? To keep the system going. He's basically what Sasuke or what Madara wanted was to create a lie as well. That was his motive. His motive was to create an illusion that wasn't really real, and to unite everyone under this falsification. And that's exactly what Sasuke's about to do. He learned nothing from the sort of thing with Madara, and like if you were gonna go there, I feel like you gotta set that up as a tragedy. You know what I mean? Like that his character, that it would come to pass that he would eventually become the exact same thing. But I mean, I think the manga tried so hard to be like, no, he's not the same. He's different, but there's still issues. But you know, he's not the same. But he kind of is the same. It's like he's kind of doing the exact same thing. He's gonna get them all to band together under some sort of pretense that he's this evil person that he supposedly thinks he's not. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a lie. And Naruto saying, hey, this is a lie. This isn't a real way to achieve peace. This is a lie. It's the argument. I think the moral argument that's going on between them. And it's really not that different between what Madara wanted and, I guess, against Naruto. Not Hashirama, but more Naruto.
You think, because, you know how the sage gave them the, like, pieces of his own power?
Yeah.
I think the sage should just take away Sasuke's piece. Like, he's being a little, like, asshole right now.
You know, like...
He's still his son's spirit. He can take his son's spirit's power.
That's definitely a huge point that was brought up in the comments section of Naruto, of this most recent chapter. Really? Yeah. Where they're like... I think it was something along the lines of, like... you know, there's, like, good guy Greg, and there's, like... What's the opposite of that? Scumbag Steve. Where it's like scumbag Sage of the Six Paths, where he hears his sort of plan to murder Naruto and gives him power anyway. Or he's like, okay, yeah, well, exactly. Good luck, Naruto. You know, like because Sasuke told him, right? Yeah. There's that scene where he's like, oh, is that your answer? He's like, yes.
All right, well, here's the moon power. Go have fun. You've earned the moon power.
Figure it out.
Naruto, you my boy, but I got this coming for you, bro.
I gotta be fair. Okay? I gotta be unbiased. Alright?
Yeah, he definitely just gave Naruto the massive, like, responsibility.
I think it's even funny to think about the fact that earlier he was, I think in the chapter before this, he was like, what was he saying? He was like talking about like, oh, you know, I didn't think that like he would go down this road, but you did fucking know because he told you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
He was like, oh, I'd hoped he'd really make up his mind, even though he told me.
That he had already made
word
up his
for
mind.
Word. Yeah.
He like
anyway,
approved
let's
of
get
it
to...
too, man. Okay, yeah, but yeah, for sure. Should move on.
Let's get to some predictions, I guess.
They're just gonna fight, dude.
We're gonna see some badass.
They're just not. They're gonna. You know what would be super awesome? If they didn't say a single word throughout the next chapter. The next chapter was just all fight,
all combat,
all just fighting,
and just lots of Sasuke, just like over and over again. Rasengan, yeah. I'm guessing that they're gonna pull out the stop, like all the stops on this one. Like it's just gonna be all just like incredible combat, because like at this point they know like it's like their biggest shot at sort of salvaging the sort of the readership's anger
and
right now.
Hopefully it's not just wishful thinking either. I hopefully all this shit goes down.
It's just like the lamest fight.
Right now. Yeah, at this point the train's left the station. He's got to deliver now.
Naruto and Sasuke like, all right. No special sage powers. You can't use electricity. I can't use wind. And yeah,
just classic Rasengan.
It's like we're out of chakra, so it's a fist fight.
Yeah, we're doing taijutsu, bro.
Yeah.
Taijutsu or go home, dude. Bare knuckle. I got
it's this. It's an arm wrestle, dude.
No, it's the Kakashi and Guy thing where they do rock paper scissors.
Yeah. Like who can do the most push-ups or something like that. Dude, I kind of want to bring up this thing where it just got me to thinking about it because you guys were just talking about, you know, like this is the last train. Wait, what did you say, John? Again, like something.
The train's left the station now, so he's gotta.
Right.
He's gotta deliver it.
And I forget what his name is, but I remember I was watching this interview about this like world-renowned fight choreographer, and they were asking him, you know, what makes like really really great fight choreography, and the guy says, you know, like there's like so many people right now who are in this industry who choreograph so many fights and everything's really flashy and amazing, and it's, you know, the theater, the cinema right now is just chock filled with that sort of stuff. But what makes like fight choreography really really impactful is what's behind the reason why they're fighting. Where when the story is really established and you understand where the characters are coming from, when the story is solid and when it's really really good, and you understand what's at stake, that's what makes choreography in a fight so great, is what he says. I guess essentially what he's saying is, you know, I mean, he's being very modest, I think, but he's saying, you know, it's not really about my job, the story has to be really good. I have to understand where they're coming from, and then I can choreograph something between them in which, you know, the choreography is a sort of emphasis and an extension of what they believe in. You know what I mean? And like, in terms of having a lot of expectation in this fight, I think that definitely what's been set up. I mean, I guess, you know, it can kind of
like real quick, going on the thing of like choreography being more impactful if you set up the story right and stuff. I just want to make this reference here that I thought about. Like, I would take the Star Wars fight scene between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in Jedi and Return of the Jedi over a lot of the other ones.
The new flashy ones.
Yeah,
right?
Not just because like, and then including the fact that like the new flashy ones are like cooler, you know, because they're twirling and
right.
There's
you know, fucking. There's a guy who has 8 sabers.
Yeah.
Right? It's
and then they also like do force jumps like crazy and stuff. And like the old
General
one,
Grievous, Jesus Christ.
General Grievous, yeah.
Like the old one was more like a realistic sword fight, and it was just kind of cool. But like the reason that it was a better fight is because of the entire time that Darth was just talking shit, and then like
what's at stake.
Yeah, what's at stake? The entire galaxy.
Yeah.
And like his sister, everyone, like, is really not even important. Like the entire galaxy is at stake, and he has to be able to overcome this. Like he can't succumb to the dark side right there.
Right.
And then he gets all pissed off, and he like kind of succumbs, and he goes like, ah! He's like shouting and like not even like fighting like coordinated. He's like hitting everything around him. He's totally going on a rage fest, and like
everything is an extension of what the character's going through.
Yeah.
Right.
And like that's why that fight scene was amazing to me.
And so that's what I'm getting at is I think I was gonna so originally I was gonna say, considering how far off the train tracks this series has gone, I think that this fight scene is gonna definitely pay for that. But then I don't know, you know what? I'm gonna make this argument that we've seen enough and been on this Naruto journey long enough to know what these two characters are really at the heart of hearts, what they're really about. And hopefully Kishi can kind of go back to that. He can go back to what we know and what the characters are really, really about in this fight, and maybe bring it back home for us. Hopefully. Because, I mean, we grew up with them. You know, we know, I mean, even if it really veered off the tracks, we know what this manga has been about for the majority of it. So, I mean, hopefully that's enough to be able to lean on to make this fight really great. You know what I mean?
It's like, this fight is like a summation of like the entire story. Yeah. It's all coming down to this.
Like, think about their first fight at the Valley of the End.
Yeah.
It was really, really great because you totally knew what was on the line for both of them. And what the sort of more argument was.
And even if they were kids and like they did like the weak little Rasengan's and stuff, like it was still like an amazing fight. And he only had like the chakra cloak, not even like anything at all. Like
compared to what he can do now, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But it was such a good fight because of what was. I mean, even like one of my favorite fights actually is the one between Naruto and Neji. The first time he gets a tail. Do you know what I'm talking about? During the ninja tournament.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite fights, and it's not even because it's like impressive on a technical skill. It's because I totally know that the two characters believe in completely different things, and the whole fight is really about what they believe in and how they're gonna prove to each other. Yeah. You know, what's the right way to live.
And to go on that, Naruto versus Gaara too. Like when they were kids, like Gar was just like a little prick.
Really, every fight.
Every
fight
until like
Naruto.
Shippuden, like every single fight there was just like amazingly well done.
Well, I think the Sasori one was good because that one was definitely about something
Sasori.
as well. But
You know what the worst fight was?
Every fight in a row until Shippuden.
what was that?
You know what the absolute worst fight was in this manga?
What?
Sakura versus Ino.
Yeah, that shit was that. I mean, I think that was
dog shit.
dude.
Man.
That was one of the ones that I think was the early indicator of the earliest way of us knowing that that fucking Kishi does not understand girls like at all. You know what I mean? Like that was like if there was an indicator for us to understand that Sakura would be a shallow character because of his lack of understanding of how a female thinks. That was definitely it, because it was the fucking dumbest shit ever, and it was like the only dumb one out of like a majority of the battles, I'd say.
Yep.
They really shouldn't even have done that one, if anything.
It was pretty.
It was
pointless.
awful. It should have been like off screen. Like, oh, Sakura, you're in a stretcher. That's weird. Yeah, I just fought Ino. Awesome.
It was really pointless. That's why it was off screen. It's like, oh, yeah, it makes sense.
Like, good luck.
Meta.
All right, moving on to One Piece chapter 762, the White City. Why?
Minas Tirith.
Why it's gotta be white?
Minas Tirith.
Why is it gotta be White City?
I don't know. Ask Oda.
Why is it gotta be White City, Oda?
Why can't it be Black City?
Why can't
Or
it be-
Yellow City?
Or Red City?
Or even Brown City?
Rainbow City.
All right, this is... All right, just starting the chapter off awesome. Like the Don Quixote pirates.
They're like, dude, do you see that pizza? I fucking want that pizza so bad. There's clams on it and shit, dude.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Dude, look at Senor, dude. Senor Pink,
Oh,
dude.
what the
Yeah,
hell?
he looks like a G now, for sure.
Dude. Damn, he fucking let himself go, man.
All
I
that
mean,
pizza.
Dude, I remember I looked at him and I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Maybe
Dude,
we're gonna
it's
get
Senor
introduced
Pink.
to him later.
I don't know who the guy in the rabbit ears is.
Oh, that's Lao G, isn't it? It kind of looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
Lao
yeah,
G.
that is Lao G.
Yeah.
And then there's Diamante, and is that
Yeah.
Pika next to him?
That's Diamant. Yeah, Pika. Yeah, and trebles to Doflamingo's left, and there's Corazon.
Gladius.
Gladius, yeah.
The weird, like,
The art
drawing-
lady.
The art lady.
Dude,
she,
I totally
she also
forgot
gets
about her.
very fat.
Yeah.
You can see Derringer is like a baby there.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, whoa, what the hell? I did not even notice him there. Wow, so they've been in the crew for like a long ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the really large one next to Senor Pink? Totally forgot.
I don't remember.
I remember seeing him.
Oh, I remember seeing him too. I don't.
Was he in the tournament?
Mm,
It looks like he might have been in the tournament.
I've seen him though. I remember seeing him. I remember seeing him back at the sort of paradisey place that they were like hanging out in. I remember. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's
I
like the
remember
first time
seeing
you
him
see a
for
lot of the
sure.
characters.
I remember the hat mainly, like, and like the fact that he's large
yeah.
and has facial hair. But dude, the Don Quixote pirates, that's tight, dude.
His name is Mock Vice.
Yeah, was it? I always thought it was Mock Beach, like Mock Beast.
Or
something.
maybe it's Mock Veach.
I don't know.
Mock
It sounds cooler, but I guess Mock Vice kind of makes sense, right? Vice.
Mock Vice.
Dude, I'm
Where the hell is Monet?
Oh yeah, she's not in here, huh?
Maybe Oda forgot about her.
And what's his face? Virgo. Virgo's not in here either.
Oh yeah, Virgo. I guess he's sort of like undercover in the Marines, right?
Yeah, because I think he said he was undercover for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So for a while, yeah.
And this looks like it was maybe like 10 years ago. Oh no!
Yeah.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15.
Wait, how old is Law
Years?
right now? I forget how old Law is.
He's
Law's
like in
a
his
grown man.
mid-20s.
He's in his
He's like
mid-20s?
mid-20s.
So it's like 15 then. Yeah, 15 years
Maybe
ago.
like 20 years ago. How old is he here? Maybe
He's 10.
9 or 10?
He's 10, yeah.
Okay.
So it's got to be
like 15 years
yeah,
ago?
ish.
Yeah,
At most, yeah.
for sure.
I'm really want some pizza right now. Just looking at this photo. With clams,
You
dude.
want pizza?
Seafood pizza, dude. That sounds really good.
Dude, there's like so much dialogue in this page right here that like...
It took like
That-
10 minutes to read it.
Yeah, and like some of it is like some more important stuff that we should go over, but that's like a lot of dialogue.
Oh, I have to reread it.
Edict of Blood, an affront to an executive of the family is tantamount to an affront to the family itself.
So basically, don't fuck with the family.
Yeah. it's
Once
like
you're in,
mafia.
you can't.
Yeah.
Or else you're boned.
Once laughed at Lord Pika, and they put me through the torture afterward. They like
Which is like supposed to be funny, but that's kind of fucked up. They like tortured a kid, man.
Yeah, they tortured each other, dude.
To like near death.
He gained an eating disorder, and that's why he's like that.
It's also kind of hypocritical because, like, you know, technically Law's part of the family at this point, and they're beating him to death, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's kind of a
grunt.
Yeah.
And then this page
Still
right
a
here.
Padawan.
Corazon is my precious little brother. I will personally bring death to anyone that so much as touches a hair on his head. Which is... Alright.
Seems contrary to the whole, like, I killed my brother.
Ironic.
Yeah, very ironic. Yeah. But it's still, I think it still aligns with what we knew about Doflamingo. Because he was like, if you laugh at Pika, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at my friend.
And so there's this moment where everyone hears about the sort of disease Law has, and they're all like, "Oh my god, it's contagious!" And they get really afraid, and like, kind of like oddly, I'm not sure if this is like really consistent with the character or not, but Doflamingo is like, "Hey, I don't like misinformation, okay?"
Yeah.
he's like, I
don't like rumors. None of that.
he's like, hey, listen, okay, this isn't empirical, factual evidence, all right? Give me a scholarly article, cite it before you make a sort of assertion like this. This is unacceptable educational behavior. It's like, what? You know?
You guys are a detriment to society, and you should all be punished for this.
Yeah,
Wait,
so,
he didn't know that? He didn't know that Law had a disease?
No, he did,
No,
but
he did.
but he also knew that it's not contagious.
Oh.
And so he was basically saying, don't
I got it.
you know, don't spread misinformation. He's kind of, I think,
Right.
really what it's getting at is he's kind of sensitive to Law on some level because he seems to know what they went through, and so he's basically saying, hey, you know, like, you have no understanding of what this kid went through, so don't be fucking spreading misinformation around. I think is what he's kind of getting at.
Yeah, I guess on some level he's trying to build up Law a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he sees the potential. I think he even said, right, before the flashback, he's like, oh no, he said you weren't supposed to have the fruit or something. I don't know. I think I remember him saying like, oh, you were supposed to be great. I saw the potential in you, and you fucked it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a bit too early for that though, I think. But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of odd that, you know, he was showed a sort of compassion for him, you know, like kind of like come to his defense almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like think about it this way, like if the whole disease that Law has is like was sort of analogous to being gay, right, or having AIDS or something, and then just hear me out though. So he has AIDS, and they're all like, oh my god, fucking get Law away from me, he has AIDS, I don't want AIDS. And like Doflamingo was like, hey, you can't spread, AIDS isn't contagious through, you know, it's not airborne, okay?
Yeah.
It's only through the blood, so like, let's not be bigoted over here, please. It's kind of like, it's weirdly out of character to me, you know? Like, I feel like he wouldn't give a shit, you know? I mean, at most he might say, you know, like, knock it off. It's not contagious, you idiots. You know, just to kind of preserve some sort of like order at the dinner table. You know, like in my presence,
because he's gonna be part of the crew. They can't be doing that all the time.
Right.
Just to
Right.
establish ground rules.
Yeah, and he's saying like, you know, we're fucking eating right now. Like, let's not be a bunch of dumbasses, please. Like, at most, I feel like that's what his motive would be. But like, yeah, it's just like he's oddly compassionate in this scene. I don't know if that was intentional or something. You know.
Yeah, maybe he was a different man back then.
Maybe.
You know what? I have like this strange theory how this is all involved is that, you know, like Corazon sacrificed himself for Law, and Law owes Corazon for that, right?
Well, we're assuming that.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's,
sure yet.
that's what Law's been kind of giving off.
Yeah.
Right? What I think is Corazon ate that fruit, and then what's his face? Doflamingo got mad and tried to kill him, and then like.
Well, maybe Doflamingo wanted the brother to eat the fruit so that he would give him eternal life.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe he wanted that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go. That's actually a better idea. But then later on, the Corazon, like, because Law's disease right here is pretty much incurable. He's gonna have a short lifespan, right? Corazon switches Law's personality into his body, and Corazon's personality into Law's body. And then, like, Corazon dies in Law's body, and Law has Corazon's body, and he's living like that.
But then, wouldn't he look like Corazon now?
Maybe they transplanted the face, dude.
I think
like face off?
I think what happened is that he did the eternal surgery thing on Law, and rather than giving Law eternal life, it gave him a normal life. Because, like, he had an incredibly short lifespan, so it kind of met itself in the middle, where it's like, okay, I was able to get rid of the...
No, I don't think short lifespan would matter in terms of compared to eternity.
Immortality.
He might just be eternal. Like,
Hmm.
maybe you have to kill him for him to die. Maybe that's
well. Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though, is that the Amber Lead is supposedly incurable. There's no means to be able to fix it. So maybe it was
no means that they know of.
Right. At the time, but I mean, like, I think what that's implying is that it's a disease that is beyond sort of any sort of human comprehension. So it requires some sort of supernatural help, and
Which
maybe
is the devil fruit.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Is maybe it was sort of a high level enough of an issue that it required that level of commitment, where it's like he had to give up his life to cure Law of that disease, and so he used it.
Maybe.
Or maybe, for all we know, maybe Law is immortal. That'd be kind of cool.
He just becomes the next Dark King Rayleigh, man. Instead of being an old man, he's Law. I guess. No, he wouldn't become a Rayleigh.
Yeah, because that's Zoro's job.
Yeah, that's Zoro.
But I mean, yeah, maybe he's like,
Blackbeard.
maybe he's just got
No,
an
Blackbeard.
infinite life, but then like he could still be killed, though. You know?
Yeah, exactly. He won't die of natural causes. He'll die of stab wound. I didn't think that line was that. In page 7, the opening line, I no longer believe in anything.
You know,
All
okay,
right.
so you know what? I wasn't really buying into him being the way he was until I fucking read this chapter.
Yeah.
Because after I finished the chapter, I was like, okay, I couldn't believe that a kid would just be that fucked up after that. I think it definitely changed my mind. Because initially when I saw Law and how he was like, I want to destroy everything, I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, but like after the fact that, you know, he basically like had to like hide himself in the bodies of his loved ones, like there's some seriously fucked up shit he went through. It's like I was like, okay, yeah, I can totally see why he's so jaded. He's like obviously clearly mentally unstable. I think that makes sense now.
And probably also the fact that like the nun was like, oh, like be
There's
happy
hope.
when help comes
Yeah.
for you, and it's like, oh,
There's always hope, yeah.
and then everyone got slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, like,
Man.
maybe that'll fuck with you as a kid.
And it's really setting up the world government.
Who
once
was
again
that
to-
nun, by the way? Just a nun?
Yeah, just a random nun.
Like his teacher or something?
Yeah.
Sunday school teacher, bro.
Okay.
But yeah, this story, once again, is really reinforcing that idea that the world government is going to be the ultimate bad guy. You know what I mean? Constantly, over and over again, they are responsible for the misery of almost every single character of this series.
Yeah.
I will say that the Flevens people brought it upon themselves, though.
Well, they didn't know, though. It was really the royal family, right?
They did know, though.
No, they didn't. That's what they said. The
didn't,
royal family was the only one who
The
knew.
royal family and the world government.
Yeah,
knew
and they
that
tricked.
so much money was being generated.
Yeah, and they
like,
tricked the entire country into
Oh, is that
mining. Right? Yeah, into mining this stuff, and they
And then
by the
later-
time they figured it out, it was too late. Yeah.
And later, when they knew that it wasn't contagious, they didn't tell anyone that either because they were like, "All right, we're just gonna quarantine them off."
Yeah. For what reason, we're not entirely sure just yet. Maybe just to keep them to continue mining the rest of it.
You know what? I bet you there's like one of the ultimate weapons is probably made of that shit.
Amber lead.
Yeah, amber lead.
You know what's weird though is like they're making all this stuff with it, and it's like, wouldn't that be poisoning other people as well? Because they were saying like we make weapons and utensils and like everything out of this stuff, and it's like you're exporting that stuff, and aren't people gonna get poisoned by it? I don't know.
That's probably why they killed him.
So they wouldn't tell other people.
Yeah, and they would stop doing it.
But then like that would get out eventually anyway, though, wouldn't it? As people get poisoned all around the world, they'd be like, "Wow, get that shit away from me," you know.
Yeah.
But
well, they probably wouldn't attribute it to amber lead, because if the company or if the country that had the most of it didn't know about it, then like some random country that just bought 1,000 swords would definitely not know about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like if no one ever knew, it's like they wouldn't think that. I don't know.
I don't think the products would have any effect in spreading the disease.
I think it was once it was mined and came up.
Maybe it's just a byproduct of the mining process itself, not the.
I think when it's raw, like that's when it affects you. But they have to refine the things to make. They have to refine the ore to make it into products. So it probably gets cleaned out by then.
Yeah. Touche.
So by the time it becomes like a plate, it's okay to eat off of it.
See, like and from it, utensils, paint, sweets, makeup, and even weapons were made.
Yeah.
But so, like it says right here. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, although maybe it did affect other people, but I feel like we would have heard about that.
I want to like point out how awesome it is throughout this chapter that like while they're talking about amber lead and the destruction of Flevants, their entire time they're like robbing this town and killing all these people. Like they're just like pillaging.
It's like looting, yeah.
And then Doflamingo's just chilling through the whole thing. They like jack like suitcases of stuff and stuff.
Fucking Lao G. He's got his bunny ears and like a pair of like
the pants that he wears.
I don't know. It's like a diaper. I'm not really sure what that is. Like over his own suit pants.
and then like typical babies just like swimming along.
Oh yeah.
On page what is it? Page 12. Or not G. Senior Pink.
Senior Pink.
He's just like swimming for no reason.
He just doesn't walk anymore, dude. And then like a whole war breaks out.
Oh, and going back to this sort of Doflamingo being compassionate sort of thing, there's this random sort of panel added where it's like Doflamingo fell asleep reading to the history of Flavance. Like, he really cares. Like, I'm not really sure what the hell this is. I mean, obviously Oda's going somewhere with this, right? But it's kind of
he's really hiding the cross eyes, man.
Dude, no, I think Doflamingo does care. I think, like, for the sake of Law, he's probably like, all right, like, I think he does see potential in Law as a crazy kid. He's like, I like this kid. This kid intrigues me. What happened to him? Like, I want to know more about what happened to Flavance.
I think that would be more interesting. I think it would kind of raise the stakes as to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Because if he really actually like cared about Law, rather than just looked at him as a slave, but really cared about what he went through. Yeah. Then I think it would definitely ante up the sort of the issue between them right now. Yeah.
I didn't really see it as him like caring about Law. I just saw it more as like. He just is in like
interested.
He likes to be educated,
informed.
He likes to know the situations of like the world, and but obviously this is an interesting case because.
But I mean, I'll make an argument for that though. So there's a difference between just being educated, like if you wanted to put that across, right? Like, you could just have a scene where Doflamingo would be like, yeah, fucking, I know all about fucking Flavance. And he goes on this whole tangent about how much he knows about Flavance and the backstory and how they all got, this whole story, this backstory about Flavance, he could be the one narrating it. And you can already get an understanding of, oh, Doflamingo is the type of guy who likes to know his shit. You can already kind of get an understanding of that just by doing that. But I feel like there is a sort of like there's a difference in showing him actually making the proactive step of actually finding a book to read about.
Yeah, no, I that's what I agree with. Like he made an effort to actually learn about it. You know, like it's not.
There's definitely
something he could
difference,
have blown
like,
off completely. You know.
Yeah. I definitely see a difference. I mean, I'm not sure if maybe that it's gonna pay off, but or if he's gonna actually do anything about it. But I feel like
it's gonna pay off.
Yeah, if he wanted to make that point across, then he could have just known the information, and we could have already made the assumption that he's the kind of guy who likes to know his stuff.
But you know what's strange though? Everyone in the crew already knows. Because there's not one person telling the story; it's multiple people telling the story.
There were a few people who didn't know, but then there was like I think some of the upper echelons of his crew kind of. It's like, oh yeah, the story of Flavons, yeah, we know about that shit.
Well, definitely Gladius and Senor Pink.
Yeah, seemed to. Which I for some reason I thought
Lao
Senor
G.
Pink was like relatively young, but he's fucking old as shit, dude.
That's a joint he's smoking, by the way, guys.
Cause yeah, this was 15 years ago, and he kind of looks like he's in his like 30s, which makes him like 55 or something now, right? Or 45.
That's why he wears a diaper. He can't he can't control his piss anymore.
He's like shitting himself constantly.
Yeah,
Dude, he's like Michael Jackson, dude.
Oh Christ,
bro.
It's
That is a interesting. Why was he shown reading the book? For sure.
And you know what, man? In her tears right there, I feel like she knows that she's lying. The soldiers would
that'd
let
be so sketchy,
just the children
man.
escape.
Oh shit.
She knows that she's lying.
Wow,
And she's
why
just
not?
trying
Why
to give
not?
them hope.
Why
right?
not?
What
put
page?
in a panel where she knows that, though. You know, that would be even more depressing.
What page?
Page 14, the nun saying, the soldiers said they'd just let the children escape. I feel like she knows that she's lying.
Which I think that would have been so dark and so good. Like if you
Yeah.
just had a panel right before where it's like there's a shadow on her face, and the soldier's like, "I'm sorry, like we can't accept anyone," and so she comes back and says this, and it's like, "Oh fuck, man." You know, you're just like, Jesus.
No, I feel like it's more of a situation where she can't even see a soldier and ask him because the soldier was going to shoot on sight.
Well, I mean,
So she knows-
basically what I'm getting at is to let the reader know that, though. You
Dude,
know?
I know that.
So that's all that matters.
know,
I feel like you could have made that extra step to, you know.
She's crying because she knows that there's no escape for them. And she just
I mean,
wants
I think
to give
that
them
face
some
is
hope.
definitely hopeful, though. She's crying. I think you're left to assume that she's crying because it's like, oh my god, there's a way out.
I think she's crying. I think she's crying because she knows that a lot of people won't get out, but all these kids can get out.
Yeah.
That's what she thinks.
She's like she's hopeful, basically.
She's like, Law, you don't want to hear this, but your
Jesus
sister's fucked. You got to get out of here.
My daddy
But then they're all
and mommy
fucked, really.
both died. It's like every character in One Piece.
How the hell did Law avoid extermination anyway?
He hid in the dead bodies of other people.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But before that,
No,
like everyone else was killed.
Did you see
and
how
he's just walking around?
Did you see how the way the events progressed is like after like the group of children and the nun went to the soldiers or whatever, he went back inside to his house and he was like chilling with the sister. And here's like
I see it.
the mother and father get killed.
On the street, and then all the other kids are dead too.
And then he runs out and like so he basically like
Yeah.
just so happened to just miss them, right?
Really, it was his
He
sister.
basically
His sister
he just so
too.
happened to miss every place that the
Yeah.
soldiers had been.
And then he turns around where like the sister was in the hospital and the hospital's on fire.
Yeah.
So he just happened to miss everything and escape.
And then he went into the dead bodies. I'm assuming before.
Yeah,
the
and
soldiers
to
came out,
survive
right.
at
Yeah,
that point.
that makes sense to me actually.
Which is like
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
like,
very hand of God.
dude. Maradona.
Is it really a hand of God though? Is he?
It's
lucky
a hand.
or
Does
the
God
most
exist?
Unlucky man in the world.
No, dude, it's a hand of Buggy.
Yeah, it's a hand of Buggy.
dude. But he's such a compassionate God, such a merciful God.
It's like, one day, Law, you're going to be a big deal and you have me to thank for this, alright?
But first, you have to see your whole island get slaughtered and hide in dead bodies.
Christ, man.
Law has like a nicer backstory than a lot of characters that we've met, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What do you mean, like crew members?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah. What about?
Get the fuck out of here.
I think his
Zoro's
story
cool.
is more compelling than Chopper's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll go get that one.
Usopp. I didn't find his backstory.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
crazy.
His backstory's not that compelling either, and Zoro too.
Zoro
is
isn't either.
Is very basic.
Yeah.
I thought those were all like given a little more. Actually, okay, maybe.
Dude, no. I'm absolutely right on this, John. Law's backstory has been
Definitely Chopper.
tragic to the tragic power, dude.
I'll argue Usopp's is pretty good.
Like, Robin had a good one.
Nami
had a
good one. I
great
really
one.
Well,
like
Robin had the
Nami's,
best one,
yeah,
TBH.
Well, I mean, okay, if we're going there though, I think that his was comparable to Robin's. Like,
I don't think
in
so.
terms of severity, I think it's up there.
I think in
just
terms
how
of
horrid-
delivery,
In terms of
It was
delivery,
just-
obviously Robin, because they spent way more time on Robin. Like her backstory was like a whole arc in of itself.
Dude, it was like her coming to the crew was like multiple arcs. Dude.
At least 4 arcs in coming. It started from Alabasta, and it went through. Dude, she went through
Water
fucking
7,
Skypiea,
dude.
Water 7, Thriller
In
Bark,
his
right?
lobby.
Before.
Yeah.
even that game one,
Yeah,
she was playing a game with that.
Yeah, well, what was it?
Dude, that was the best.
that like
arc.
filler.
What was his name
Yeah.
again?
That was easily the best arc.
Something
The,
Jones.
the
was it?
time control guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Foxy Pirates or something
Yeah,
like that.
I forget what his name is. Something Wasn't it something Jones?
I don't remember, man.
Davy Jones. Davy Backfight. Wasn't that what it was called?
Oh.
Davy Backfight or something?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Because I remember
I
thinking
don't
it's
know.
like Davy Jones, where it's Davy Back for whatever reason. But yeah.
It's interesting and compelling, but I didn't feel like emotionally moved by his backstory.
Right, because
Which is weird because I guess I'm like
I think
totally desensitized.
because it happened in one chapter, I think, and because we weren't really like. I mean, I think that's intentional. You know, I think we're not supposed to invest in him as much as the other characters because he's not really going to be a part of the crew.
Right. Hence my sort of apprehension. But it's a really compelling backstory.
And the thing ends off on a real twist here. He actually surprisingly actually stabs Corazon,
Bullshit.
which I feel like Corazon let him, right?
Yeah.
He had to have let him.
I don't think so. Bullshit.
What's bullshit?
I don't think he let him. I think Corazon's just an idiot. He was like tripping. He like lit himself on fire last chapter. He's just dumb, man. He does have a pretty sweet like beanie though. He's got like hearts at the end of the strings.
Yeah.
But no, Corazon just sucks, man. To let himself get stabbed by this kid. Dumbass.
Just got a very irrational hatred of Corazon. Well, not
I just
necessarily.
didn't buy it, man. It's like he's running on garbage. You would be able to hear like things moving around behind you.
Like, he's
Yeah,
running down
exactly.
at him, so there would be like an avalanche. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And this Law is not exactly like stealthy or anything. It's like a hot-headed little kid.
And then the fat one saw him.
Buffalo.
Dacian.
Man.
He broke the
Whatever his
edict
name
of blood. It's the skewer torture for him. Dacian! I'm gonna.
And then one last shot of Doflamingo still
Read.
with the book on his face.
Which maybe him sleeping indicates that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He got so bored, like he fell asleep. But yeah, man, that was a lot of stuff. Just like that was a lot of
jammed into one
content.
chapter.
Yeah.
Dude, Oda, man.
I mean, like
Oda.
I always read the sort of the comment section to this because I like to know how people respond to developments in the story. And one of the top comments for the One Piece one was something along the lines of like, like Oda takes like probably the most breaks out of all three of the mangaka on the Big Five, but I understand why he does it. It's because like literally every time I read a chapter, it feels like there's like 3 chapters worth of content. Like I swear to God, it's like every time I feel like I'm coming up on the end of a chapter, and it's like I realize I'm still only on page 8. And like I thought about that, and I was like, that's kind of very true. I feel like I've definitely done that when I read One Piece, where I think like, damn, dude, a lot really happened. Like this, I'm sure I'm coming to the end of it, and it's like, oh, I still have like 4 pages left, or something. You know what I mean? And like that definitely never happens with the other two. The other two just kind of it's already over. There. I'm like, oh shit, man. Like yeah, he just like fucking packs it with just like so much just stuff, and it's like it's not really just like unnecessary stuff too. It's all really just related to. It's really all about just fleshing out the universe, I think, of One Piece itself.
Yeah, he has a lot to explore and explain.
Yeah, I mean, he creates it,
Yeah.
It's not like something that just exists that like it's like, oh yeah, it's so vast that there's like so much I can do. It's like he fucking makes all this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, predictions for next week. Probably more.
I had a thought. I had a thought about like Law, his situation. I think it's possible that he actually isn't infected by the Amber Lead. I think it's possible that not every single citizen of White City was infected. And even though like he did go through that tragedy, I don't think he's actually going to die. I don't think he actually has this poisoning. I mean, I don't think that. I think it's possible.
I think it's implied though that his skin's really white, so I think it's implied that he has a lot of the symptoms of the sickness already though.
I think he might have some symptoms, but I don't think it's like terminal.
And it's not just that too. It's both his parents had it, and what they were saying earlier is that it passes down through the generations, and it eventually gets to a point where the kids have like an incredibly short lifespan because of what's being passed down in the genes.
Did his parents have it?
Yeah. Everyone.
Does it say his parents had it?
I mean, I don't think it really said it explicitly, but it's definitely
it's a 2 infected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a 2 infected, like, have been killed.
Oh, and then and they have bullets in them or whatever.
I think the world government can't possibly know for sure if someone's infected just by looking at him.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean,
like,
unless they have like the spots. I don't think his parents had the spots.
Well, I guess a question I'd have to ask you then is why set up this whole thing just for him not to even be a part of it?
Well, because then it kind of reinforces that idea we were saying earlier is like the government is so horrible. They just killed everyone senselessly without testing people, giving people like the survivors a chance, or even like trying to understand the disease. It's like everyone on the island was assumed to be infected, Law included. So we'll just wipe them out.
Is that really what makes it horrible though? Or isn't it what makes it horrible the fact that they basically exploited them to do that for them, and then they didn't bother to even heal them, even though they weren't really contagious in the first place?
No, I mean,
both things are horrible. It doesn't have to be one thing only.
No, it's not. It's not. What I'm saying is, it's not really about that. It's about the fact that they knew that it wasn't a contagious disease, but they still. But really, the motive behind why they were doing it is because on some level we don't know exactly why, but they wanted to keep them quiet. That's what makes it horrible. Not that he might not have had it.
And the reason they wanted to keep him quiet is because they were making a lot of money, and they knew that it wasn't a contagious disease, and they knew that this disease existed, but they didn't tell anyone it existed at first. And right here he said, why won't you or we're not contagious, it's not infectious, like why won't you share it? It's a fact. Mm-hmm. Like why won't you broadcast that?
Right.
So they're refusing to tell everyone.
Yeah, it's like they're not really doing what they're doing because they're afraid of the contagion. They're doing it for a different motivation.
They wanted to kill all those people.
Yeah, it's not really about their sort of fear or their sort of lack of understanding about what the threat of the disease is, because they already knew it, apparently.
And whether Law has it or not, I'm pretty sure he has it, dude.
I'm saying it's possible he might not.
And it was just propaganda spread by them making everyone think that they were going to die anyway.
It's more just like yeah, I guess so. The world thinks that the White City is completely infected, so they could justify killing everybody. But they didn't bother to like make sure everyone was infected or not. Maybe some people were immune to it, or some people built up an immunity because it spreads through the generations, right?
Oh, that'd be that would be very
immune
interesting,
systems.
actually,
Immune
yeah.
systems mutate.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if Law had that and his sort of immune system had mutated to the point where he actually could take it and use it to his advantage or something.
I just think it's possible. It would be a nice like twist, and it would, I don't know, it would just further solidify the world government's shittiness. Not that we need it, because we know they're horrible.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe,
well, let's expand on that idea though. So it's like, in what ways could it benefit him that he has this amber lead poisoning and he has an immunity to it? Maybe he's just immune to all poisons, because it
could be one reason. I mean, because I guess we're to assume like Corazon. We know Corazon helps him in some way. If it is that he's poisoned, it probably is that maybe Corazon, if he has the heart fruit, he can, or not the heart fruit, the ope fruit, then he can like cure him. But that cure isn't a sacrifice that Corazon necessarily needs to make. So it could be something else, which it's hard to predict, but Law could later just find out. Maybe Law just obtains the fruit, and he's like, okay, first order of business, I'm going to cure myself. And then, oh, wait, I actually don't have any traces of the amber lead in me or something. I don't know. I just think it could be interesting, and it makes it a little harder to predict, and which I like. It's a good One Piece practice.
What do you guys
think? A good Oda
practice. What do you guys think is Corazon's problem? Because, on some level, like, if he's going to empathize with Law, it's because there's something that he kind of relates to, usually. That's the way these stories work. Because, obviously, Corazon does have an issue, right? He's, like, sort of, like, mute because of some sort of damaging thing that happened to him in the past. So what do you think the issue is? No idea. Don't care.
No, I care, but
no idea.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Maybe just along the lines of Law. No, I mean, Doflamingo was a kid when he murdered his father, but maybe just that same thing. It's like, oh, you watched your parents get murdered? I watched my father get murdered? Let's be friends.
Maybe it's kind of like...
But I don't think that would necessarily mute him, so it could be something else.
Maybe it's kind of like that thing where it's like, you remember Naruto and Inari? The little kid from the Mist Village back when they were fighting Zabuza? Where he's like, you think, like, why don't you just keep crying? You know what I mean? Like, you'll never fix anything if you just keep crying, datebayo. You know what I mean? And it's like the same thing. Where he's like, you think your life is sad because your parents died? I saw my parents die. You think you can do everything by crying? Datebayo.
I have this idea
maybe
that, like, his muteness is, like, part of his character where he was, like, okay with his dad leaving the Tenryubito and everything, and he hated Doflamingo for killing his dad, but he knew that he couldn't beat Doflamingo, so he decided to work under him forever in an attempt to, like, assassinate him later in his life. And, like, by, like, biting his tongue and not, like, lashing out at Doflamingo for killing his parents and stuff, he also, like, developed into a muteness. I'm going to keep my opinions silent, and I'm going to do, like, what I need to do here until I can kill him for being a bastard and killing our parents.
So it's like a facade almost?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy. What if later on he's just like, you know how I got these scars? My brother carved them on my face because I kept crying all the time.
Maybe not even a facade, but like a psychological, like, impairment that he developed. Like, he's legit mute because he refused to speak his mind.
It's like a physical manifestation of his emotional problem, which is his inability to speak up for what he believes in. Right.
Kind of like Padme's inability to live after she has lost the will to live. Bullshit. He has lost the will to speak. Mute. It's probably pretty gnarly though. And I could buy that if he resents his brother.
And then that's why Doflamingo killed him. Because, like,
it
was a failed assassination attempt on the president's life.
Yeah, because obviously he doesn't want to, like, confront him now. Doflamingo's I mean, I don't know when he would ever want to confront Doflamingo.
Is he older or younger? He's a younger brother.
Younger,
right?
yeah.
Younger brother? Okay. Oh yeah. That's definitely also part of it too. It's like it's harder to talk up to your older brother, huh? Not that I don't really have one, but
Yeah, no, fuck that fool.
All right. We'll wrap it up, guys.
Excellent discussion this week, guys.
yeah.
The
enjoy.
material was all too good to talk about. I loved it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some great discussion next week as well.
Hopefully they can just like keep up the beauty of whatever they can do.
It was about goddamn time, dude.
Yeah.
It was a long time coming.
It was a payoff
story.
that we dearly needed
Yeah.
10 chapters ago.
Imagine we're gonna see his reaction, Corazon's reaction, and no. Do you think it's just gonna be a violent one, or is it gonna be like?
Yeah, I know that's not going to kill Corazon because like nobody dies from stab wounds.
Yeah, in One Piece.
Yeah. Although it kind of went through his heart.
Yeah, I noticed that definitely.
Yeah, kinda went
A
through
little
his
left
heart.
of center.
Oh, it's a little below. I think it's lower because the heart should be up a little bit higher, right?
Yeah.
It's more like he pierced the ribs.
Yeah.
I think the heart's a little central.
Pancreas.
The pank.
I'm super looking forward to.
To what Ichigo is gonna come back and do, actually, because it's pretty whack up there now.
Are we talking about Bleach now?
Yeah, I'm talking about Bleach now. I'm trying to watch some more Naruto and Sasuke getting down, actually, because honestly, like, this is all I've been waiting for too long. So we got to see that happen. And thanks for listening, guys. It's your boy Jahan. Thanks to Alex. Special thanks to John.
Yo.
Special. We'll see you next week. Hopefully the chapters are as awesome as they were this week, so we have some more awesome discussion. I'm kind of looking forward to listening to this one, actually. I really want to hear all this information again. Alright, thanks for listening, guys. We out of here.
Well, later.